Sentinel Online. Now loading the Geekcast radio network of podcasts.
Cliffjumper, commence countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now, ToyCast, with your hosts, TFG1Mike, Matt Spada, and Optimus Scourge.
Hello and welcome to the 69th episode of ToyCast. I am your host, TFG1Mike, and I am joined by Spada. Hello, sir.
Yo, how you doing, my man?
Pretty good. And returning to ToyCast is Optimus Scourge. Hello, sir. How are you?
Doing well. Glad to be back. Back in black. Episode 69's where it's at, yo.
Man, if I could get away with putting AC/DC's song in this episode, I would so do it.
You could if it was on YouTube and you advertised the song.
Yeah, that's true.
Put the Amazon link to the song, you can use it. It's too bad you can't do that in the podcast. You know, put the iTunes link in it.
Oh,
really?
I know.
If you put the Amazon link into the song, they'll let you use it?
I believe if you have I know if you're a partner you can do that, but I'm not sure about everyone. I haven't tried it yet. I've put some Eminem and stuff in the middle of my videos. As long as you don't have the song MP3 itself playing, if you have it like playing on your stereo or phone in the background,
yeah,
it's usually okay. Like I was playing stuff through when I did the iPod docking convoy. I did reviews. I was playing stuff from my sister's iPod, stuff from mine, you know, but not the whole song and not like obviously in high quality where you could rip it. Yeah. So I never had a problem. You could probably play something on the radio if you wanted to, if it was in the background. But yeah. I wouldn't add the actual MP3. That's my advice. Just going on, I've got warnings on YouTube for other things, copyright infringement, like baseball. Like when Bill Buckner went back to Boston.
Oh, no.
I know I'm going off a track of toys, but I'll stop quick. You know, they'll send you a warning and give you a chance to take your video down. Otherwise, they shut you down. That's actually what happened to my first YouTube account because I had it on a spam Yahoo account. I never paid attention because I never uploaded. And when I did, I got in trouble and I got banned. So I had to re-upload as a new user. So I've actually been on there since it came out, but, you know, only so 07 with the new name. But anyways... Yeah, it's good to be back. I'm feeling better now. Was out without a job for a while, not able to buy toys, and you know, just not doing the podcast really. And it's look forward to doing this one, number 69. So,
yes.
What are we doing today, guys?
I don't know. We normally just do like some general chat, and then we get into the discussion topic. So,
oh no, sure. I mean,
yeah.
What are we doing for toys? We going through that?
We'll go through that once we get to that segment.
Okay.
Let's see. Is there what else do you guys want to talk about before we get into the discussion topic?
What new toys did you guys get?
I recently got the Challenge at Cybertron 3-pack.
Nice.
Pia dropped off Rodimus to me, which I won from his contest.
Very funny video, by the way.
Yeah, that was great.
At the end. Yeah, at the end.
All you get is a hand.
Well, it's not even that's funny to me. It's just the end where I say, you know, I gotta go because I really want to play with this guy, and then I go, oh, I mean Ron.
Oh, yeah, that.
Yeah, it was like, like, oh crap, that's not gonna sound good at all. I've actually gotten into the Masters of the Universe Classics line.
Oh, no.
I just picked some of those up at Toys R Us. I don't want to get into like having a subscription and all that and paying the big prices, but I picked up the 2-packs at Toys R Us.
See, I've seen the 2-packs at Toys R Us, and I don't like them.
I don't really either, but
for that price, I don't like them.
That is my exact same theory. I really want them. I'm not willing to pay $30.
No.
See, I haven't opened them yet. I'm kind of having the regret. Like, is it really worth this much money?
It's really not. Honestly, if you're... And the other thing is, and I understand it's Mattel's whole thing of combining the DCUC and the MOTUC thing, but if you really want just the MOTUC things, go to Big Bad Toy Store and get them from there. Because, I mean, you don't need to get a subscription. Like, Optimus kept telling me I don't know, a couple weeks ago, just get the 2011 subscription. It's still on sale. And I said to him, I said, dude, all the figures that I want are already out. Why would I want to get the new subscription?
Oh, the Masters, I'll just tell you from being on Toy Arc, every figure that's going to be popular at all that you probably want will be re-released. So just,
oh, yeah.
I will tell you from collecting for over 10 years that if you have patience, it will come to you and you'll be able to get a brand new one or a reissue if you just wait. I mean, there are things like Wheeljack and Sunstreaker, obviously, that haven't happened, but you got a really good KO of those now if you want minty. I mean, personally, I have vintage before. I had that completed a long time ago, probably 2002. I had that all completed, the 84 and 85 cars. That was my first goal. And then it was to get 84, 85 with all the mini bots. That was the second goal. I think Bumble Jumper was a really tough one to find. The mini spies are impossible. I got a lot of stuff from Wheeljack's lab off of eBay actually too. And I used to get a lot of bonus checks in my last job back in 05, 06. We were doing really good, and I was getting $1,000 bonuses every month, every few months. So I just really built up a collection, and to be honest, I'm really glad I did that and didn't go build some kind of rice tuner or something like that because that collection, I didn't want to have to sell everything, but like I said before, you appreciate what you have when you don't have as much stuff. And when you start having a complete Generation 1 collection as well as Armada, Energon, Cybertron, RID, Beast Wars, Animated, I mean, you get to have so much stuff that you have a closet full of bins because you can't display it. So it came down to...
I have a parent's basement full of bins.
Yeah, I still have closets full of bins, and I've really thinned out my collection. I mean, I still have, Revoltex. I have the PVCs. I have the Japanese PVCs and the Heroes of Cybertron. I have, just enough to be thankful for and appreciate. I sold all my alternators, and I kind of regretted it at first, and then I'm like, do I really like those? I like the way they look. I like their car modes. I like their alt modes, but I absolutely hate transforming them. I mean, give me a Classics Prime or something any day. Yeah. Or an animated toy, I mean, for the most part. I mean, there's just something about the quality of ease of transformation for me that I'm not going to batch movie toys. And to be honest with you, a lot of success of the movie toys has given us the chance to have RC and Rodimus together, which I see as your profile pic, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, when it comes to toy collecting in general, I go after the characters I want. I'm not really much of a completionist. Like, I didn't have to get all of animated, because honestly, there are some animated toys that I just don't like. I didn't like Soundwave, so I got rid of him. I never bought Oil Slick because I don't like motorcycle transformers. I just don't. And when it comes to when I start getting more Masters of the Universe Classic stuff, it's going to be the characters that I want. So I'm not going to go all completionist on that line. It's just,
And that's actually a healthy way to be.
Yeah.
Because when you get to be completionist, it's actually unhealthy.
I think the only thing I've been completionist about, I think there's only two out of the 4 lines. Yeah, 2 out of the 4 lines of Mighty Mugs I've been completionist on.
I noticed you had quite a few of those.
Oh, God, yeah. I
have Sean Connery, which is a long story. He was my avatar and is my avatar on Toy Arc still. But it was a whole Alex Trebek versus Connery thing from SNL back in the day with Will Ferrell.
Right.
And
the day is mine, Trebek.
Not so fast.
I'll take the rapists for 200.
I want to go home and kill myself.
Like I did your mother, Trebek.
Suck on it, Trebek.
Okay, this has become an SNL skit show. But I do eventually want to get the Star Wars mugs. I'm still holding out on Indiana Jones ones. I don't know. I've got...
The Sean Connery one's a must-have. Everything else to me is kind of... I got him, Optimus, Snake Eyes, and...
I've got 3 out of the...
I got like my favorite characters. I got Optimus Prime, Snake Eyes, Sean Connery, and Darth Vader. The first Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I don't like the unmasked one. That's
no, I don't like that one either.
I found a place to buy a blank. It's actually at HTS, and you can buy a blank Mighty Mug.
Yep.
And I would love to have someone customize one for me in like a Red Sox jersey, because that's how most people know me, from wearing the sports jersey, but not a jersey, but a T-shirt. But
I'm surprised you haven't had somebody. I'm surprised you haven't gotten one of those black blank ones and had somebody do an Optimus Scourge one.
Well, I wouldn't want to give anything away by saying that. That could be for an upcoming featured video, so you never know what you're going to find.
Yep. All right, so today's discussion topic, I got this from TJ Omega. I've heard him several times on the TFW podcast, even though I don't really listen to that much, but I'm subscribed to him on YouTube, and I saw an episode of his YouTube show called Plastic Addict called Top 5 Most Inappropriate Transformers, and I just found it so hilarious. Oh, man. Where do we want to start with this? Because, wow, I'm sure there are a lot of inappropriate Transformers.
Yeah, some of the names. I mean, there's some that I know of this, because I've had this discussion, and I'm trying to think of. There was either a Matt Moylan skit or something of it was related to G.I. Joe, but like Snow Job and stuff like that. But I mean, it's for Transformers. I'm trying to think.
Erector.
Yes, Erector's the biggest one. Erector is the biggest one. Definitely. I knew I was hanging on the edge of my tongue. Thank you. But yeah, they definitely had some interesting names. But I will say, for the sake of sheer funniness and inappropriateness, it had to be G.I. Joe.
There's I think Gog Dog found out the joint on Shockwave, animated Shockwave. The crotch joint. That was kind of funny. I've noticed and I know not to really give away what Optimus Scourge is going to be reviewing, but I noticed when I got animated Rodimus that if you angle his arm just right, you can put his hand right on his crotch.
Not only that, you can
let's
fit both hands together.
Yeah.
You got the touch.
That's what she said.
Oh, dang.
What's RC doing on the desk? This must be on his Celio. RC, get over here. I'm back. They finally let me into a Toys R Us, and he opened me. I just realized I transformed him without flipping down his engine. That's such a cool feature that they did that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so let's go ahead. Do we really have anything else we want to say about inappropriate Transformers?
No, I'm good.
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and get into the display case. And Optimus Scourge, since you are back, why don't you go first? Who are you going to be talking about?
We'll be talking about the new Transformers animated deluxe class Toys R Us exclusive Rodimus Minor. And I know a lot of people say he should be Rodimus Prime or Hot Rod or whatever Rodimus, but he was Rodimus Minor in the show, and the way animated worked was you were a Minor, then you were a Prime, then you were a Magnus. So if you think about it, he could be a Rodimus Magnus someday, and actually in his bio on the back said, he's been told he would make a great Magnus.
Yeah.
So
it's really funny if you start reading through the the Allspark Almanac.
Oh yeah, I have. I don't have the second one yet, but
I've got the second
it.
one. They start mentioning Major.
Do they?
They start mentioning a class called Major, which is weird because it's never mentioned anywhere else.
Maybe it was one of those things that they tried and they couldn't incorporate it or whatever. Probably.
I understand that's the way animated worked, but just for my own purposes, he is Rodimus Prime or Hot Rod.
Yeah. To me, I kind of like him as Hot Rod or Rodimus. I don't use the minor. To me, honestly, to me, especially lately, we have like Autobot Jazz. Does anybody really discuss them as Autobot Jazz? No.
Trademark. That's the only way they could keep the name.
Right.
Yeah.
And, they can't call him Rodimus Prime because Rodimus Prime's another character.
Yeah.
Optimus Prime was the leader of the Autobots when he had the Matrix, so you can't call him that. So, to be honest with you, I'm not upset that they named it Minor. I just choose to call him Rodimus.
Yeah.
And just, I actually said both in my video review, I believe, Rodimus and, I said the actual name, and then I called him Hot Rod once or twice and called him Rodimus, But, yeah, I don't use the Minor, but it is accurate to the show. So,
Right.
Overall, he's very sleek looking. He's got the G1 matching pipes. I wish they could have been done in chrome, but it's totally cool that they're not. I'm psyched to have a Rodimus period. I actually did order the crystal set, which I'm waiting for that to come in on pre-order, but it's actually shipped already, but I'm waiting to get it. A lot of people have already gotten it, so this is my first hands-on with Rodimus. Obviously I did the video review a few days ago, but he's got the nice, clear, translucent windshields, which I really like, and he's got the typical animated silver Autobot Tampograph logo, painted on logo on the top of his car mode. Now, he can hold his bow, and I don't like the way it looks, but I will say from a standpoint of I like my toys to be able to store all their gear, whether it's a G.I. Joe holding all of his guns and gear or in his backpack or whatever, or a Transformer that can stow his weapon in alt mode. I like the fact that it can be done, but it does look ridiculous, and I would never display him that way. But I do like the fact that it can be accomplished. Okay, so that said... if you flip open his front windshield, which kind of opens up like the cockpit of a plane, you see his face right in there. You can kind of see it through it, but the transparent blue windshield is good enough where it's it's not glaring at you. But if you open it, you kind of see his face right there. It's the only thing I don't like is that you can't kind of rotate that down and out of the way. But anyways, you flip him over. He's a very simple transformation. His feet are plugged into the front bumper of the car. And you pull down his feet. You have to kind of wiggle free his side panels of the car to do that. Once you get him down to the bottom, you rotate his torso around. You move his side pipes up to his upper thighs. Then you pretty much flip his feet out. And his arms, which are the back of the car, swing around. They're on swivel and like hinge joints. The arms kind of fold out and have that animated feel of being curved in but not quite animated lockdown. It can go that way, though.
Right.
But they do have enough clearance to get out and be a little bit more straight.
Random barking.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
A little house detective there. So then you take his chest, and you're gonna want to first of all open up that window, like I said, and you want to push his head through before you fold his chest down. Yeah. And then once you get his chest loose, you're going to have it kind of flopping loose, and you're going to take his engine cover, and you're just going to push it over, and you're going to flip out the Autobot sign, and then you're going to flip up each one of his wheels, fold it down, and there's a little tab that pegs into his waist, and it snaps in, and then it's pretty much just posing the arms, folding up the back, and the back end of the car literally just flips up in half and becomes his spoiler. Nothing too fancy or flipping around, just flips right up. It's very nice. Very well done. Love this toy. And very, very happy to have found Rodimus at retail. I also found a few of them, was able to help out a few board members, so that was really nice.
Yeah, it's been weird. Nobody saw RC for months, and everybody started finding her. And then now... Rodimus, he's showing up everywhere as soon as he's released.
Not here.
Sorry.
Yeah, you know what, though? Patience. You will find him. I found 4 RCs the other day. It's like I don't know anyone that needs an RC anymore, but...
Yeah. I haven't seen an RC in almost 5 months.
Yeah, me either. That's what was weird, because I had just picked up animated Iron Rodimus, and I do have an extra animated Rodimus if you do need one. If you don't find one, I'll hang on to that for a bit. Cool. Because I've already sold 2 sets to board members that I wanted to help out that have helped me. So I do have an extra Rodimus. And if you want the Ironhide, I'll give you that too. But personally, I think I can wait for that at retail. There's going to be a bunch of those left over.
Yeah, the ratchets are just clogging the shelves here.
It's going to be the same with Ironhide, yeah. But yeah, overall, I mean, I give this guy a solid 9 out of 10. I mean, he's, he does have some issues with articulation in his shoulder, his elbow joint with the pipes. But if you maneuver it around and fiddle with it a little bit, you can get some good poses out of him. Yep. And he does look really cool with that bow weapon.
Yep.
He had that in animated. It's show accurate. I mean, the only thing it's missing is the drawstring, and he looks really cool, just kind of holding it in his hand, kind of pointed down to his side in a way, or pointed up. He can get off some poses. So really can't fault the guy for having his pipes in the way a little bit of his of that, and the articulation and posability otherwise is right up there on par with any of the good animated deluxes. I mean, he's got fantastic ability to pose. He's got great light piping in his face. He's got bright blue eyes, and it's that same blue plastic that's over the canopy. And when you put a little bit of light behind it or put him in a window, it shines through, and he's got these glowing light blue eyes, crystal blue eyes. It's really nice. And that's pretty much all I have to say on that figure. I mean, I'm very happy with it. Definitely recommend. You see this at your Toys R Us, definitely pick up one. And if you really like Rodimus, maybe even two, or try to hook up another fan, because scalpers are picking these things up and hawking them off. And personally, for me, I'd rather help out a friend for cost plus shipping and, like $1 gas money or something than to throw them all on eBay, because I know how hard it is to find these guys as it is. But I don't buy more than half of what's there, and then I'll post. We have a sightings thread over on TFW, pretty much for every state, and I posted in there the other day that you don't want to necessarily post exactly where you found Masterpiece Grimlock. Just kind of post you found him in PM for location, because, whether we like it or not, scalpers and the public are looking at these threads too to find toys, and they're not going to join or post or say anything. A lot of people don't. For every one person that posts, there's got to be 100 that don't.
Yeah.
So
and that's very sad.
Yeah, well, the scalpers look at those too. That's why I said just say if you find one, either, hold it at the desk under a certain name, PM for the name. You make up a name like Fred. Like when I found Masterpiece Grimlock, I got 3 of them. I bought one for myself, one for another guy in Canada. Even though they have them, he can't find them because they're getting scalped to hell for $100 on eBay, for a $70 toy. And I still have one that I haven't opened yet because I have the Takara one, so it'll basically just be a comparison review when I do that.
Yeah.
I'll probably do an unboxing, show Grimlock in his robot mode and his other mode, and then just, transform him real quick, because he's a great transformation. He's a fantastic toy. That one I might take like a 14, 15-minute review on just, to show him off. But I'm not going to transform both at the same time. I'll, just show them in both modes and show one transformation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things where I just don't get it. See, I thought they were going to, like I said, everybody's seeing Rodimus for the most part now, where, when we first did, when we first saw RC, barely anybody was seeing her except like random people. And
I got really lucky with RC. I was able to hook up like 10 board members and people on Twitter and stuff. I got really lucky with that.
Yeah.
I like to hook up people in other countries like Canada and stuff, though, because I've been hooked up with an Aveo Swerve for free from Canada. So, and I have a lot of friends up in Canada. I'm actually decent friends with Super Megatron, who runs
TFCon.
He runs TFCon as well as actionfigurenews.ca, which he runs a show for that. He runs several shows. He actually does more shows out of any of those guys.
Yeah.
And he's pretty much the guy for Toy Arc, too. He's pretty much my boss over there, but we're good friends. He was one of the people who I hooked up with Animated Rodimus and Ironhide. So I really like to help people in other countries who don't have a chance, and then once I know I'll find more, because the Ratchets were all gone from my Toys R Us.
I have a silly question for you about Toy Arc. Do they ever do anything regarding like toys from Japan or anything like that?
Yeah, we actually just got HobbyLink Japan as our sponsor. Anything you want to put on there. Yeah, HobbyLink Japan's one of our sponsors, and it's a recent sponsor. Not super recent, but within the last 6 to 8 months. And definitely recommend ToyArk.com for any of you guys who collect the Marvel Legends, Marvel Universe. There's G.I. Joe discussion, Transformer discussion, Star Wars. It's more about collecting. You're not going to get any kind of movie discussion. You're not going to get any kind of animated feature discussion or cartoon discussion or even comics. There is a thread about like what did you get for comments in the general discussion, but there's not forums where you have this rabid fanness. No offense to the forums that they have, but they got to have them for the people who want to talk.
Yeah.
And but it's much more laid back. It's more of a collector-friendly kind of, I'm into this kind of, poppy or whatever it is you like from Japan. And there is robot and mecha toys, which are different than Transformers in the sense that you can post a lot of Macross. Personally, myself, I like Macross a lot, but they're very expensive. Like I just remember when Ben Pia was reviewing all those Macross toys, I was just like, oh my god, it's like getting the Messiah and everything, and I was just like, oh, I was green.
You're talking to someone who also deals with Hobby Link Japan quite a bit, actually.
Yeah.
Oh man, you want to talk about expensive? Oh god, some of those Sentai figures have put me back quite a pretty penny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've paid most of the money I've paid is in customs. I can't announce what it is, but I have a very special review coming up of a contest winning custom. I just can't reveal what it is because it would spoil it, but
That's fine.
that review should go live within the next week or so, not this weekend, but by the weekend after that. I want to do it in HD, and I want to learn my program a little better before I release it, so
Right.
that will be in the works.
I'll have to put this link in the episode post, or maybe I'll put the picture in here. But Spada just linked us to multiple sound waves with War for Cybertron looking like a tape deck.
You're welcome.
Very
That's
cool.
Actually, yeah, that is extremely cool. I still say they should release a tape deck version, though.
I agree with you, or at least something similar.
Yeah.
That would be very cool.
Yes, it would be. All right, so I guess I'm going to go, and I'm going to be talking about Transformers Universe Challenge at Cybertron Rodimus. This is actually my first Rodimus mold outside of Shattered Glass. This is the first Classics one I have. I don't have the original US one.
But you have a Shattered Glass Rodimus?
Yeah.
Okay, for some reason I just find no empathy there.
What?
Because I don't have Shattered Glass Rodimus, I sold mine, and I regret that.
I've had them for 2 years.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying that you saying you don't have a Rodimus when you have the Shattered.
No. Oh, all right, but what I mean is I've never had the original colors version of it.
So now this one's the anime. You're talking about the animated color, the anime version, right?
I think it's more indicative of G1 Hot Rod myself, but that's just me. I mean,
it's like called the animated version, the 3-pack with Cyclonus and Galvatron, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure I knew the one you're talking about.
Yeah. He is like super like fire engine red, pretty much. The only thing I really don't like the windshield isn't translucent on this one. It's like a clear baby blue. That's okay, I can forgive that, but the missile is also the exact same color, clear puke baby blue, and it looks just weird. I don't like the solid color at all. I don't know, but
yeah,
overall,
I agree with you there. Not to interrupt you, but I actually had that set on order, and I don't anymore, just because I don't feel I need it.
The only
it's
reason
just too expensive for what it is.
I don't know. The way I look at it is, these are all deluxe figures, and say, I mean, at worst you're going to spend 12 something, 13 something for a deluxe. 3 figures, it's close to what it is on BBTS, and of course BBTS, as we've talked in a previous ToyCast episode, is a third-party dealer, and they have to make some sort of money back. So, I mean, that's why they have different prices than
Hey man, I like BBTS.
Oh, I do too. I love those guys over there. That's
I actually
awesome.
been waiting for the Seacons to go on sale because their ones in stock were like $79.99.
The
But if you waited,
$59.99 ones are up now.
oh, it's already been processed, buddy.
Yeah.
Now, if they could just get a hold of Executioner and Munitioner for Bruticus parts.
Yes, that's gonna be my last purchase probably for a while, and then I have a lot of other stuff to review.
I have
So-
had them on pre-order for almost a year now.
Well, something happened. Something happened in the first boxings. They had to rebox everything because the instructions were not showing all the configurations to get all the guns and everything to stow correctly.
Well,
they
I
had
heard that
pictures of it.
They had some severe issues with their third parties. Like, the boxes weren't right, the instructions weren't right,
Right,
some
yes.
of the figures came back and they were tooled incorrectly. So I'm wondering if they were all getting from like they were getting everything from a Foxconn dealer or something.
Yeah, this guy is super cool, and the only reason why I got the challenge at Cybertron set was because actually I will be talking about him in a future ToyCast episode. I think it's 71 that I talked about Cyclonus, which hasn't been released yet, obviously. But that was one of the reasons why I got the challenge at Cybertron set was because of the Rodimus and the Cyclonus. The Galvatron, to me, is a junk toy. It just is. I don't like it. It fell apart as soon as I got it out. I forgot to undo one of the box ties, and I pulled him out of the package, out of the little plastic wrap, with his arm still tied down in the box. So yeah, Galvatron's not my most favorite
Don't
thing.
even get me started with that. Wow.
Yeah, no. But the Cyclonus and the Rodimus, they are very true to TFTM. Cyclonus is easily the best coloring out of all three colorings that he has between the US and the Henkei and this one. But Rodimus is pretty much a G1 hot rod type. I mean, he's very dang close to it.
Now, does he have the baby blue windows?
Yep.
Okay.
It's just like the missile color, the baby blue. It's not translucent, and that's one of my complaints. But that's pretty much the only complaint I have about him is that it's not translucent. But
Or even black.
yeah. And the other thing I noticed, and maybe it's just me with this with this one, especially with the clear, not the clear, but the solid painted blue. One thing I noticed is when you fold up his chest to be the front of the hood, you can clearly see his head, the back of his head, or the top. Is it the back or the top of his head? Yeah, you can clearly see the top of his head. And I don't really like that, but other than that, I mean, it's a very solid toy. And it's pretty much the same. It's almost. I mean, of course, it's the Classics mold, but it's almost the same transformation as G1 Hot Rod, except in the legs. The legs are a little bit different on the Classics mold, but you know the feet still fold up kind of the same and everything else. I really, really dig this guy. He is really awesome. And, you know, regardless if I had the Shattered Glass one first, I want to get the Henkei version of this because I think that's, like, the most accurate to G1, but that's just me. Yes, I know I'm rambling. I'm actually trying to transform him as I'm talking, so that's...
That's what I usually do when I'm doing mine. I transform them as I'm talking about them.
Yep. So, Spada, who are you going to be talking about this evening, sir?
Well, I am actually going to be talking about a duo. A duo that you really should have together, and that is Armada Megatron and Tidal Wave.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these guys are, honestly, out of all the, I guess you would call them ultra-class figures, these are two of my favorites. My third favorite would have to be Overload, but I'll talk about him at some other time. Megatron really is a nice figure, even if he is pretty much a brick. I mean, his tank mode is kind of bricky. His robot mode is definitely bricky. But there's just and if you hear some clacking sounds, that's me fiddling with the figure. This guy is just cool looking. I mean, he looks menacing. He's big. The thing I really like is he's also bigger than Optimus, which is really kind of refreshing, having a Megatron being substantially larger than our main hero. But he's got a lot of play value. He's got mini-con ports all over him. I think in robot mode he's got something like 17 mini-con ports or something. But he is very, very cool, and I love the green of the tank. Anyway, so Megatron by himself is very cool, but really, you can't have Megatron without Tidal Wave. And Tidal Wave is, on his own, a freaking awesome figure. I mean, here you've got a figure that's effectively 3 different ocean-going vessels in one. He splits into 3 different vehicles. The first is a strange hovercraft, the likes of which I've never seen before. The second is a dual-hull submarine, and the third is an aircraft carrier. And all of them alone look pretty cool, but then they combine into, I think it was called the Doom Fortress mode? Or something like Dark Fleet. I'm sorry. They merge into the Dark Fleet mode, and then that mode turns into a robot mode. You know, this guy is the closest thing that you're going to get to as a Decepticon from the Generation 2 comics. And if you've ever read the Generation 2 comics, the Decepticons were all like... The Generation 2 Decepticons were 2 robots form 1 vehicle mode. That's the way almost all of them worked. And I kind of get that vibe from this, but I love this guy. I think he's great. We don't have enough figures like this. I would love to see other figures in this fashion where like 2 or 3 different components can merge into something that turns into the robot. I think you could get some really, really cool figures using that method. And then, of course, the 2 of them merge together, but that just looks silly.
Yeah, I bet it does.
Yeah, Tidal Wave's a badass bot. He's pretty awesome.
Now, the U.S. has 2 different paint schemes for him. The first one is the one we got in Armada, which was that weird purple and green and brown. And then we got the
Galvatron?
I'm sorry?
You're talking about Armada, never mind.
Well, there's the Armada one, and then there's the Energon one, which is white, neon green, and black zebra stripes.
Yep.
And then there's the Japanese version, which is the proper animated version, which I really wish we'd gotten here in the U.S., but apparently the folks at Hasbro didn't want so many dark-colored figures.
What a joke.
So they chose the color of human bile.
Ugh.
For a lot of his parts.
That sounds like it hurts.
It is rather ugly, but still, the figure is awesome.
Uh-huh. Now, which mode do you usually have Megatron displayed in?
Megatron, honestly, right now, he's in robot mode, simply because out of the 2 modes, robot mode is my favorite.
Uh-huh.
And that's just also because, well, he takes up a lot of shelf space in tank mode. I mean, a lot of shelf space.
Yeah. I find a lot of the Megatrons, well, outside of G1 Megatron, but a lot of the other Megatrons take up a lot of shelf space in alt mode.
Yeah, most of the Megatrons do. I think the largest one, out of the Energon... Well, let's see, there's Energon... Energon's big, but then... the
Cybertron.
Cybertron,
the
Cybertron car mode is massive.
Yeah, it's like the Batmobile. I'd love
like
to
the
see that as a
Batmobile,
custom,
but
as a Batman with the Batmobile. That'd be awesome.
I've seen a custom of that, and it is awesome.
Yeah, I think I have seen it.
Yeah. What about Tidal Wave? Where do you normally display him?
Oh, I just display him every which way to Sunday.
He's one of the few that made it to my keep pile as well. He's an awesome figure, I agree.
I display him in... I actually like displaying him in the individual vehicles because you just... If people come over and they see him, they're like, oh, well, what does this little guy turn into? It's like, well, that little guy merges with these little guys, and they form one big guy. And it's just my only caveat to the figure is if you lose any of the components, you're screwed.
Yep. Yeah, I bet. That just doesn't... I think that's the... outside of, like, maybe guns, but if like, mini-cons or, combiners, obviously if you lose one piece, you're screwed.
Well, there have been some Beast Wars figures in the past, especially any of the guys that are sharks. If you lose any of those pieces, you're screwed. I mean, just screwed. Like Cyber Shark, Hellscream, whatever the remold of Cyber Shark was, Hammer Strike from Beast Machines, any of the fish Transformers. They always, their weapons are the parts of them in beast mode. Always. Just with every single one.
Yeah.
And that always irritated me. Because, kids are going to lose stuff. They're going to lose bits and pieces. So they lose that, well, sorry, Billy.
That's why I have a love-hate relationship with mini-cons. I love them, but I always hate when you have that great figure and you don't have his mini-con. For example, I have the Megatron, Armada Megatron, like you said, and I don't have Leader 1. I know I have it somewhere, but I don't have it handy, and it's just like, I'm one of those people who like to have everything displayed together, so... But because my kids played with these back in the day when they were young,
They might have eaten them. They might have eaten
well, what happened was the good ones I replaced with newer ones. Like the Overload battery case got eaten, so I got one for myself. But I basically, they had their own to play with. And, I would keep, like, the primes and the nice one in my room and still let them use them. Because, let's face it, these toys nowadays, especially the Cybertron toys, they were so solid and just, like, indestructible, really. I could think of a few examples that aren't, but, for the most part, these Cybertron's toys were really solid, and even Energon and Armada, they weren't always the best, but they're very solid. Tidal Wave, you could throw up against the wall, he's not going to break, Not that I recommend that, but...
And then we got, animated, where you could, by taking it out of the box, it would fall apart.
Oh, don't get me started.
I'll settle for that, honestly, though, because the screen accuracy was, that was the best ever.
Yeah, that was. And I think what really helped that was obviously Derek J. Wyatt and Eric Siebeneller, because they both worked hand in hand to get the toys out. Obviously Derek was the art designer, but, Eric would, from stories I've heard, Eric would go to him and say, hey, how can we work this into a toy? And that's why the animated designs and the animated toys are so awesome. For the most part.
Sadly, we're not getting that from Prime. Transformers Prime, that is.
Oh, yeah, I don't know how that's going to work with toys. And they've already come out and said...
It's going to be movie-based,
Yeah.
That's their platform right now. To be honest with you, that's what's making them money, so...
Yep.
That's sure not... Power Core Combiners sure aren't going to make them money.
I'm not going to bash them because they're for kids. Yeah. And, this is about selling toys to kids, so I honestly hope they do well.
Oh, I hope they do well. I don't think they're going to do well, but I hope they do well.
I've heard
no, they don't seem to be moving very fast. Like guys like Smolder and stuff, I picked him up, but I'm not picking up any of the combiner sets. They look too much like Energon Prime's, drones to me.
Yeah. I've heard stories of people say that the Wave 2s are, people that have gotten the Waves 2s already are much better than Wave 1, but...
That's what I've heard. Still haven't seen any of them.
Yeah. So, what else do we want to talk about, guys, or do we want to close this out?
I'm actually good. I got my C-Cons on order from BBTS, so maybe they'll be here by the next time.
Oh, cool.
Yep, next time
That's
I'll
another
have...
thing I had. Sorry, that was another thing I had to sell was my C-Cons because they weren't 84, 85, and neither was Predaking. They were 86. I didn't feel as bad letting them go, and I sold mine for $225, and now I just got them for $60. I think 70 shipped.
Yeah. What do you got coming up, Spada?
Oh, well, I'm finishing up... I just put up the second video for my Neppu Sentai Hurriconjure Week. The second mecha of the series is being reviewed this time. The rest of this week will be dedicated to that, as in the third one will be going up Thursday night, Friday. And then next week I'm going to be delving into the rest of the Energon leaders, hence the Armada Megatron and Armada Tidal Wave reviews. I've got those coming, and I've also got Overload, or Overlord, or I think it's Overload.
It's Overload.
Overload and Jetfire reviews. I'll be reviewing those. I'll be getting the reviews recorded this week, probably into this weekend, and that'll all be next week. And then, man, I've just got a lot of backlog figures I got to work through. I still have. I'm halfway through my stop motion Minicon Jamboree.
Awesome. All right. I think that's going to do it for us. Unless, Optimus Scourge, you got anything you want to pimp out?
We can give out our YouTube and Twitter names if you'd like.
Yeah, Twitter's usually in the actual close of the show, but YouTube is, go ahead and, Optimus Scourge, you can go first.
Okay, it's Optimus Scourge 76, one word.
And Spada?
You can find me at Baltmatrix. That's BALTMATRIX, all one word.
All right, and I am at TheoryFan1051. So, thank you for joining us here on ToyCast. There's ways to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com. Join the forums, PredaconEmpire.com/Nexus. Leave the show's feedback in iTunes. Please do this. I'm going to have to check that for next time. I haven't checked it in a while. Follow us on Twitter. TFToycast is the show Twitter. Mine is TFG1Mike. Spada, what is your Twitter?
Baltmatrix, once again.
And Optimus Scourge?
Optimus_Scourge. It's the only time I use an underscore.
Alrighty then. Become a fan on Facebook. Search Geekcast Radio Network. Call the voicemail line. Tell us the show you're leaving the message for and your name. 502-526-5821. We hope you enjoyed this episode of ToyCast and wish you'll join us next time. For now, I am TFG1Mike.
I'm Spada.
And I am Optimus Scourge.
Alright. Thank you for listening. Until next time.